Good evening, namaskar. I hope you all are doing good, and I really believe that you are also studying very well. So, good evening, everyone, dear students. I am C. Ankit Sharma, your faculty for the session. Today, we have a very important topic to discuss, and that is residential status. The taxability of the income in India of a person depends widely on the basis of his or her residential status. So it's very, very important to find out the correct residential status of a person. Being a resident or non-resident, etc. We have already heard these words in our last session also, which was the rate of taxes. Because your status of being a resident or a non-resident is going to impact upon your tax liability. So before starting the class, let's say good evening to everyone. Okay, Hitesh, Jain is good evening, Janesha is good evening, Namaskar, Sat Sri Akal, Vanakkam, Kem Show, etc. Those who have birthday today, happy birthday to you, everyone who have birthday. Okay. So again, Yogita is saying good evening and so nice to see you again. Same is here, of course. Good evening. Riya Doshi, Janinder Kumar is saying good evening. Sir, solve all illustration practice question initially, got few issue question of marginal leap and capital gain, but later got all concept. Very well done, Janin. Congratulations. Good evening, Matanjali, Amon, Soumya Gupta. If anyone has birthday today, let me know. I'll wish you, of course. So, Ravana, Poonam Sharma, good evening. Aditya is good evening, good evening, good evening. So, everybody, a very warm good evening to all of you. In the last class, I also told you that the surcharge provisions of basic concept chapter 1. The second session, we discuss about the rate of taxes. And there I told you that the surcharge provisions are really, really important and very complicated also, you can say. Now we have surcharge rate is 10% in some cases. In some cases is 15%. In some cases is 25% and 37%. Depend upon your total income. So this is not the end of the surcharge rate because till here you can easily learn them. And in case of partnership firm and other, this is very simple. The surcharge rate is only one slab. But in case of individual, etc., surcharge rate is technically changed on the basis of the slab rate. And it sometimes is 10, then 15, then 25. And if your TI is exceeding, total income exceeding 5 crore, then it's technically 37%. Again, still, you can easily learn these also. But there is a slight provisions, new provisions, some complicated things also come into the role. If you have some certain specific incomes, those are going to be taxable at a special rate. There are some income on which this slab rate does not apply. There are some income on which slab rate does not apply. So if those incomes come into the question, then the rate of surcharge will slightly change. I have uploaded the chart also in respect of that. I believe you must have seen that chart, and I am here to explain that chart once to you, and that will make the provisions very simple. So technically, surcharge provisions are very complicated, but with the help of chart and the way I'm going to explain you, you will really feel that this is really simple. So moving on to the surcharge chart of our basic provision. After the surcharge chart, I will take the MCQ test of basic concept, topic number 2, session number 2, MCQ test. You should have a pen, paper and calculator because that's going to be a numerical test also. And after that, we will move on to our second chapter, that is residential status. Fine. So let's discuss the rate of taxes, surcharge provision. Okay, query will be taken, of course. We all know that the rules, the guidelines for the session. Query will be taken after 30-40 minutes. Our break will be around 7:15 or 7:20. If you have any query, you can send me. I'll take it after 30-40 minutes. You can ask me query in Hindi also. I will answer you in Hindi, of course. And please be focused during the class. Ask me the question which is related to our topic. Okay. So let's see. Shreya Shah is saying, after reading all the provision regarding rate of tax, can we say an individual who is a resident of India having 5 lakh total income has to pay only 4% cess as a tax? No. Tax is based upon your, cess is based upon your tax. So if some resident has income of rupees 5 lakh then his tax liability will be 0 with the help of rebate. Clear? And if the tax is 0, then the 4% will also come to 0. So cess will be applicable only when there is tax. So if there is no tax, then there will be no cess. I hope you got it. Shreya Shah? Okay. Okay, Vishal is saying, sir, you said some left part. Yes, I told you that the surcharge provision, the special surcharge provision, we are going to discuss over here, and I am about to start it. You have done all the question. Okay, Darshan Prajapati is saying, today mind first class. Welcome, Darshan, in our first class. Please do take the previous classes also. That will really help you to understand the today class also, because in the today class, I am starting the previous class topic. After that, chapter 2 will start. So the chapter 2, when I will start, you will understand it completely. But the topic I am going to start, surcharge, that might not going to easy for you because that is connected with the old provision. Okay, all question have been done. Very nice, Vishal. Matanjali is saying all question have done. Very nice. Brilliant. Okay, Dilip AS briefly give basic concept explanation. Why briefly, Dilip? You can see the YouTube class and you can see in detail also. Nothing shortcut. Please do revise the whole classes. Fine. Okay, just pre-call is okay. So let's moving on to the provision of surcharge. Okay. So new surcharge provision for individual HUF, AOP, BOI, AJP. Case 1 is very simple. We have already done it. Case 1 says that if there is no special income into the question, what are the special income? There are technically 3 special income we are talking about. One is long-term capital gain under section 112A. Now, what is long-term capital gain under section 112A? You don't need to worry. You will be told in the capital gain chapter. We're going to study about this in the capital gain chapter. Okay. So there is a specific income. These incomes are taxed on the special rate of taxes. Slab rate generally does not apply. Fine. So one is long-term capital gain under section 112A. Second is short-term capital gain under section 111A. And third one is, we can say, dividend income. So if these 3 income is not in your question, understand what I'm saying. If these 3 income is not in the question, you have income from house property, salary income, business income, other capital gain, long-term, short-term, except long-term under section 112A and short-term 111A and dividend. So if an assessee does not have these 3 income, first case talk about it. So if total income does not consist long-term capital gain 112A, short-term capital gain 111A and dividend. Do not ask me what is 112A, what is 111A, what is dividend. You will going to study it in the further chapter. So if then assessee, if he's an individual HUF, BOI, AJP and has total income, but it does not include any of these 3 income, then the surcharge provision will be normal as we have discussed. Like up to 50 lakh, up to more than 50 lakh, up to 1 crore is 10%. Already we knew it. More than 1 to up to 215, more than 2 crore up to 5 crore, it's 25%, and more than 5 crore, it's 37%. So if these 3 income does not include in your total income, then the surcharge provision will be normal. The new concept is this. Now case 2 says, if total income consisting either long-term capital gain 112A and or short-term 111A and or dividend, any of them or all of them. So if income is including these income also, then surcharge provision will slightly change. We have now 3 cases to understand the surcharge provision in this case. First, if total income, listen carefully, if total income including 112A, 111A or dividend is up to 2 crore rupees. For example, if Mr. A house property income is 80 lakh, short-term capital gain 111A is 90 lakh. These 2 income has been given in question only. So total income is 1.70 crore. So does it fall in category 1? The answer is yes. So if TI include 112A, 111A and dividend is up to rupees 2 crores. If your total income is up to 2 crore including any of these three income or all of them. Might be I can say you have also long-term cap gain 112A 10 lakh. Then now income is 1.80 crore. So this will fall in case 1. So what will happen if your total income is up to 2 crore rupees and including any of them or all of these income, then how surcharge will be applicable? If TI exceeding 50 lakh up to 1 crore, including these all income, if your TI is more than 50 but up to 1 crore, then surcharge will be 10% on tax. But if TI exceeding 1 crore but up to 2 crore, then surcharge will be 15% on tax. So in my question, which case applicable? This. So now whatever will be the tax of 1.80 crore rupees income, we will calculate it. So whatever tax will come, now surcharge will be 15% on tax. If it is less than 1 crore, then the surcharge will be 10% of tax. Clear? So if we have income of 112A or 11A or dividend and including other income, if my total income is now up to 2 crore, then these two provision will be applicable to find out whether surcharge will be 10 or 15. One case will be applicable. If my total income is up to more than 50 lakh, up to 1 crore, then surcharge will be 10%. Otherwise, it will be 15%. There are also 5-6 examples I have drawn after this chart. So you will understand when we will discuss those examples after the diagram. Okay. So this was the first case. Now moving on to our second case, B case. Now what will happen? B case says that if total income without considering, that means excluding those special income, those three special income like 112A, 111A or dividend. If my total income excluding these three income is more than 2 crore or 5 crore. Now like this, if my house property income is 1 CR, my business income is 1.5 CR and long-term capital gain 112A is 1 CR. So now my other income except these three special income is exceeding 2 crore. So my case will fall in this B category. It cannot fall in the first category because first category case is only those income when whole income including these three is up to 2 crore. So in the second example, my other income is 2.5 crore excluding long-term capital gain. So this will fall in this category. So now if my total income without considering these special income is more than 2 crore or 5 crore, then surcharge will be as follows. How surcharge will be applicable? Now the income which fall under section 112A, 111A or dividend, whatever tax is applicable on those income, I have told you that slab rate does not applicable on these incomes. There are special rate of tax which is applicable on these income. That's you are going to study in further chapter. So whatever tax will be on these income, these three income, surcharge will be 15%. That is fixed. Whether it's 1 crore rupees, 2 crore rupees, 5 crore rupees, whatever income these three accumulated and whatever tax will come, the surcharge rate will be 15% on these three incomes. On the other income, like this in our case, 1 crore house property and this business 2.5 crore. In these income, now surcharge will be applicable as follows. If income is more than 2 crore but up to 5 crore, then surcharge will be 25% of tax. And if income is exceeding 5 crore, then the tax surcharge will be 37% of the tax. In our case, the income is 2.5 crore. So it will fall in this category. So whatever your tax will come, surcharge will be 25% of tax. Clear? There is an example. Just the numerical concept has a very unique feature in every subject. Very unique. That you might learn all the provision, all the concept by heart, but you cannot able to solve question until you practice some numerical. So when you practice these concept in a numerical way, then you understand, okay, this is going to be done like this. So if you are having any kind of confusion what I am saying, just have patience for next 2 or 3 minutes. After these 2 or 3 minutes, we will discuss the provision with the example. And that will make you understand that yes, these are again very simple concepts. So let's moving on. If you do not have any income consisting of these three incomes, surcharge will be like normal provision. Done. If we have income including these special category of income, and after considering if your total income is up to 2 crore, then surcharge will be 10 or 15 as the case may. But if excluding these income, excluding these three incomes, my other income exceeding 2 crore, 5 crore, then surcharge on these three income tax will be 15%. But the other income, it will be 25% if income is more than 2 but up to 5. And if exceeding 5, then surcharge will be 37%. Now the last case. The last case says, understand, this is the third case. That means the case which does not fall in case A or B. So case A said if you have income including these income up to 2 crore, it says if your income exceeding 2 crore, excluding these income. And now it says if your income exceeding 2 crore, including these income. So this is vice versa of B case. If total income including 112, that was excluding, and now the word has changed including. So now if your income is exceeding 2 crore, but when? After including these income. So if your income exceeding 2 crore, but after including these category of income, then surcharge is very simple provision. It's 15%. It's only 15% fixed. Whatever is the tax liability of all income, you need to apply 15% as surcharge only. Clear? Now we'll move on to the example. Then you will understand the concept. So first in the question, you need to find out whether the case will fall in case 1 or case 2. If it falls in case 1, then there is no mess technically. It's very simple. Rate will be 10, 15, 25 or 37. It's very simple. But if you have income of these special category, then you have to find whether case will fall in case A, B or C. Like the following questions. So we will find out whether case 1 applicable or 2. And if 2 is applicable, we need to check it's case A, B or C. Okay, got it? So let's move on. Particulars, example number 1, we are discussing example number 1. And it says, if other income means except these special category of income. Your other income is 70 lakh rupees. And you have these three category income is nil. So that means case will fall in category 1. It does not have any income fall in the special rate of income. So case 1 will be applicable. And in case 1, if income exceeding 50 lakh up to 1 crore, then rate will be 10%. As simple as that. Okay. Now the other income in example number 2 is 80 lakh. And the dividend etc. income is 1.90 crore. So now the total income exceeding 2 crore rupees. Total income exceeding 2 crore. After including the special category of income. So if your income exceeding 2 crore, after including the special category of income, so that case will fall in case 2C, last case. Understand? So in that case, surcharge rate will be 15% fixed. Simple. Now 90 lakh is your other income and 80 lakh is your dividend, etc. So now total income is 1.70 crore, which is less than 2 crore. If your income, including a special category income, is less than 2 crore, then case will fall in case number 2 and part A. So rate will be 15% because income exceeding 1 crore but up to rupees 2 crore. So now your fourth example is your other income is 1.30 crore and your special income is 2 crore. So in which category will fall? Your total income is now 3.30 crore. That means your total income is exceeding 2 crore after including the special category of income. So if your income exceed 2 crore after including a special category, that will fall in last case. That means case number 2, last case means C case, and rate will be 15%. So now if example number 5 says that your income is 4 crore, other income, and special category income is 1 crore. So now your income exceeding 2 crore without including the special category income. So if your income exceeding 2 crore without including the special category income, that case will fall in category 2 and case number B. So in that case, special category income surcharge rate will be always 15%, and the other category income, our normal income is exceeding 2 crore up to 5 crore. That means 4 crore. Then surcharge rate will be 25%. Same case is C. Your other income is 6 crore. That is exceeding 2 crore rupees without including the special category income. So that will fall in category 2, case number B. Rate will be 15, and because other income is exceeding 5 crore, that means rate will be 37%. Last case is your income is 4 crore and you do not have any special category income. That will fall in the first case, the rate will be 25%. So you have to note it. If your income exceeding 2 crore with including the special category income, the case will be C. If your income exceeding 2 crore without including the special category income, the case will be A. And the income, if without including, that will be case number B. And if your income does not exceed 2 crore after including the special category income, that will be the case number A. Fine. So these are the example. You should try it once again. So you will find out how surcharge rate will be applicable. I hope it's clear. Fine. So that I was wanted to make you understand, because that is not a easy concept. This is quite complicated, but with the help of chart, I believe that you might understand it very easily. Right? So now the time has come for our MCQ test. I hope you all are ready. So text me who are ready to give the test. Good evening again. Today is good evening. Okay. Okay. Jaspreet Kaur is saying, sir, tax is my favorite subject. Mine too. High five from Wi-Fi. Of course, I love this tax. I love every subject, and you should love the profession of chartered accountant, because that's a beautiful profession. Beautiful, wonderful, excellent. I have no word to explain this course, because I can feel the changes in my life after I prefix this CA in my name, because before that my life was something completely different. And the day I became a chartered accountant, the life has actually moved into the different direction. It's happening with me. Okay. Okay, Ayush Goel is saying your teaching style is awesome. Thank you so much. You are also awesome. Okay, today is your first class, Santosh. Welcome into the class. Mahadev Bharaj asking, sir, do I need to write during class? No, you do not need to write during class. You have class on YouTube. You can write whatever you want later on, of course. You have done all the question. TI means total income. Mukta is asking, does TI means this is no, TI means total income. Gross total income. After deduction, it is called total income, on which tax need to be charged. It means total income, correct. So as Naga is saying, good evening, good evening. Okay, Pooja is saying it's almost same. Okay. Vishal Agarwal, so in the case of capital gain, maximum 15%, surcharge rate will be maximum 15%, you can say, but do not, you will going to understand the chapter of capital gain later. At that time, you will understand what is the rate, what are the surcharge concept, etc. in detail also. Akash Neil is asking, third example, फिर explain करो sir. Avisha, we are on YouTube. You can scroll back and you understand the third example also. Okay, fine. For your sake, let me tell you the third example again. Third example, you have 90 lakh income and 80 lakh. So if you have a special category of income, and after including that special category of income, if your income is up to 2 crore, then you will fall in the second category, case number A. It's simple. Okay. What is the difference between case 2A and case 2C? Akash Neil, it's very easy to understand. Case 2A saying when total income does not exceed 2 crore, including the special category income. And case C, when income exceeding 2 crore after including the special rate income, of course. So I guess all are ready for tests. The charge concept is clear, Vishal. Very nice. Ready for MCQ? Vishal, okay, MCQ. We are ready for test. We can repeat. Okay, so let's moving on to our MCQ. Let's see. You are ready. You should have a pen, paper, and calculator. Let me share the screen with you for our test. Where is the test? This is not my test. Okay, so here's the test. We are going to do question one by one. We have 14 questions in the test. So one by one, I'll give you a time of almost 20 seconds, 30 seconds to solve. In the numerical question, I'll try to give you more time. So here is question number one. This is the moment of truth. Sach ka samna for all you. I hope you all are ready to face the test. Question number one. And I told you, whenever you are giving answer, please do write the question, 1, 2, 3, whatever it is, and then write the option, the correct option, what do you think, in front of that. Okay? So, question 1. So, what is the answer of question number 1? Vishal asking, so the previous MCQ PDF has been uploaded? Yes, the previous MCQ PDF has been uploaded. I have written day before yesterday or might be yesterday. You can check on the Board of Study app or portal, you will find it out. Okay. So please give me the answer of question number 1. Fast. Okay, students answered me. A lot of answer has been come. Yogita Kumar is saying D. Miss Shreya Shah is saying D. Pooja is saying A. Himanshu is saying D. Pooja is again say D. Question 1. The correct answer of question 1 is D. A person is accessible in respect of income of some other person is called deemed assessee. I have told you. In the definition of assessee, the person is accessible for some other person, like the minor child, etc. Those are called deemed assessee. The answer is correct is D. Rekha is saying A. No, Miss Rekha, answer is D. Mr. Rajiv Das, sir, I am a retired banker and doing CA course to enhance my knowledge level and upgrading my skill. I enjoy your excellent lecture with complete clarity on subject. Lectures are very lucid and simple. Thank you so much, Mr. Rajiv. It's very encouraging. Thank you so much. Okay, so the answer is D, 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 and Vandana is saying B. I don't know why. It's a wrong answer, Vandana. It's not processing default. And Devi is saying D, correct. Shruti is saying A, wrong. Garvit is saying D, correct. Mega from Ajmer is saying D. Ajmer is a beautiful city, Mega. Very nice. E. Subrato Patro is saying B. B is wrong. Menon Rafiq Bhai is saying D. Rafiq Bhai. Mehman Rafiq Bhai is saying D, correct. Miss Amrit Pal Kaur is saying D, very correct. Priyansh is saying C. Why it's C? It's D, Priyansh. Okay, so Joshi Sio is saying D, correct. The question 1 correct answer is D. Moving on to the second one. Question number 2 correct answer. Send me fast. Okay, somebody is saying C, somebody is saying B, Yogita is saying B, Shrestha Jalan is saying C, and Darshan Prajapati, जिनकी आज first class है, वो कह रहे हैं B. That's why I was saying now you should take the previous classes first. Of course, the correct answer is C. If you have made investment of rupees 10 lakh but shown in income tax return is 8 lakh, that means investment not fully disclosed because the correct value was 10 lakh rupees, but you have shown it rupees 8 lakh. So that is going to be the correct answer is C. So those who has given the correct answer C, congratulations. Because we have 14 questions, so I want to complete it as soon as possible. So we need to start our new topic that is very, very, very interesting topic. That is residential status. We need to understand the topic, the concept, and that is also very important for the purpose of examination, numerical as well as theoretical. Question number 3. Option C was the correct answer of question number 2. Now the question number 3. I have discussed the provision regarding the shipping business on section 172. So if Mr. Vinod is a non-resident and on freight income of rupees 50 lakh, then under section 172, what should be his income to discharge his tax liability? Always read the MCQ very carefully, very, very carefully. The question as well as the options, and then only answer. Let's see who's going to give the correct answer of question number 3, because that's our technically the first numerical question. Anybody? Prabhas Jain is saying A. Ms. Samrit Palkar is saying A. Okay. Shravya is saying A. Very nice name, Shravya. Okay. Mahadev Bharadwaj is writing 3,75,000. That technically means option A. The provision was that 7.5% is going to be the income, not the tax. We are not asking about the tax. We are asking about the income. So 7.5% is going to be treated as your income. Okay. So that means 3,75,000. Option A is the correct option. And almost every student has given me the correct answer is A only. Nobody has given me any other option. That's really, really encouraging. Thank you so much. Very well done, students. Question number 4. Again, this is very tricky. This is very tricky. Let me tell you, very tricky. So read it carefully and then answer me after recalling the provision. Okay. Will Filmfare Award event fall under section 174A, that is assessment of AOP, BOY, AJP, formed for a particular event? It's true or false? Let's see who is going to give the correct answer of question number 4. Muktavya asking what is U/S under section. Muktavya, it is the short form for under section, U/S. Okay. So question number 4. What will be the answer? It's a true or a false? Okay, anyone? We have answer. Akash is saying A. Mahadev is saying false. Pooja is saying false. Miss Sai Kulkarni is saying true. Vikas Bansal is saying true. Dilip is saying false. Rekha is saying false. False. Rishabh Raj is A. Jainder Kumar is B. That means false. So almost 50% answer is coming in this case. The correct answer is, of course, B. That is false. Why? Because Filmfare is an event which is going to organize generally every year. But section 174 say for those organizations which are AOP, BOY, AJP formed for a particular event and dissolve in the same year. You might have read the whole section and it has been written those is going to be end in the same year. But the organization which technically organize Filmfare Award that does not dissolve in the same year. AOP, BOI, AJP talk about those events, the organization of those events, which is going to be dissolved. Like in IPL. So IPL happened only in each year. So after that event end, like this year IPL will be end on 29th of May. So after that, the organization which is technically organized, like BCCI, is it going to be dissolved? Of course not. So only those events, those are for a special purpose and the organization is going to be dissolved in the same year after that event. Only those fall under section 174A. So Filmfare does not fall in that category. So that is a false. It's a very tricky question. Okay. Well done who attempted it correctly. Question number 5. Income includes. It's very simple. Please give me the correct answer. Do not give anyone wrong answer. I do not expect wrong answer of this question. Okay. So question number 5. It's very, very, very simple. Dinesh Jalan saying I was wrong. Now it's clear. Very well done. That's why I'm here, of course. So we have MCQ also in this chapter number 2. We will discuss about a lot of things, and I also try to explain the journey of becoming a CA, my journey of becoming a CA. and how to create interest in your study, how to technically study, what should you plan like that, and how to fulfill your dream. This is the only profession, or I can say this is the one of the only profession which actually give you the power to fulfill all your dreams, right? So question number 5, give me the correct answer of question number 5, and the correct answer is of course, Shraddha is saying A. How it's possible? We have discussed the characteristics of income, and it says it's include monetary, non-monetary, in kind, etc., etc., etc. So income include everything. The answer correct is D. That is all, of course. Why you are giving me A? Miss Sai Kulkarni, Himanshri M. A is the wrong answer. The correct answer is D. Ankit Gupta is saying D. Correct, Ankit. Dilip is saying D. Correct. Himanshu Gupta is saying D. Correct. Very well done, everyone. Question number 6. Income chargeable to tax are gross receipt, net receipt, both or none. Again, it's a simple question. I believe you can give me the correct answer, all of you. Moving on to the question, and now the question will be numerical based question. So please be ready for that. Question number 6, correct answer. I am giving the correct answer in the provision. It has been written. The income is chargeable to tax are at net receipt. The correct option is B. The answer is correct, B, net receipt. Okay. Question number 7. Dividend income and CA in practice income is taxable under. If you are earning dividend and you are earning income as a CA in practice, so in which category these two income will fall? You have to answer that. Almost every student give me the correct answer of question number 6, and except Shruti saying A. I don't know why. Mr. Kushiya Sahu is saying A. That was wrong. The correct answer was, of course, D. Sorry, B. Now, Kiwari was saying B. Dilip was saying B. Correct. Now, give me the answer of question number 7. Fast. These are very simple questions. I will give you time in the numerical topic, little bit more. Question number 7, the correct answer is C. Dividend fall in income from other source, as we have discussed. And the C in practice income fall in the business category, that is profit and gain of business and professions. The correct answer of question number 7 is C. Very well done, Matanjali. Pooja is saying D, wrong. Garbit was saying C, correct. Shreyansh was saying C, very correct. Again, Riya Doshi was saying C, very nice. Rekha was C, correct. Rajiv Das was C, correct. Maurya was A, wrong. Manika was saying C. Akashni was C, correct. Okay, well done. Now moving on to our question number 8. Now this is a numerical question, easy numerical question. Read it carefully and give me the correct answer. Mr. Arvind Sharma, you all should read yourself, of course, why I am reading for you. Let me correct one thing in this question, that is should be maximum amount of income not chargeable to tax. This is maximum amount of income not chargeable to tax. So we need to tell the exemption limit they will avail respectively. What exemption limit they will avail one by one respectively. So you have to answer. Question number 8. Let's see. Somebody give me the correct answer. Preeti is saying, after giving a wrong answer, now understand in a way that I will never forget that Olympiad question. This is the beauty of being failure. The beauty of being failure. If you fail, then if you learn from your failure, you never forget that. Never in your life. This is the beauty of being fail also. So everything has consequences. The way you should take things in your life, that actually matters. So Mahendra Singh Dhoni has said that when we win, we celebrate. Right? When we win, we celebrate. And when we lose, we should learn. So if we are losing and if we are learning, that's equivalent to a victory. Because next time in your entire life, whenever you will face this kind of question like Filmfare and ITL, you will not going to solve it wrong. So again, if you are fail, that also you should learn things from that failure. Then the failure will equally benefit you the next time. So try better and fail better. Try better and fail better. And one day you will be a champion. You will be a CA. You will be succeed. Okay, so question number 8. The correct answer is of course C. Mukta is asking, is it CA income is salary for him? No. If you are CA in practice, that means you are running your organization as a businessman. So that is your professional income. If you are doing job somewhere, then in that case, income will fall in the salary. We have discussed this concept with example in the basic concept session number 1. Please do read that. Okay. So correct answer is C, of course, 2,50,000, 3 lakh and 5 lakh. Almost everyone give me the correct answer except this Mr. Dev Yagnesh. He's saying A. It's wrong. A. It's C. 250, 3 and 5 lakh. Question number 9. That is again very simple but very tricky. Give me the correct answer of it. We have to start our topic. So please, students, dear students, fast. Okay, question number 9, correct answer. Let me tell you what is the correct answer of the question number 9. It's A. Rebate is applicable only for individual and resident. Okay, HUF. Give me the correct answer of question number 10. This is a numerical question. Give me the correct answer of this. HUF has total income of rupees 4 lakh. Calculate total tax without opting for section 115 DAC. You have to calculate as the provision I have told you. There is new section 15 DAC. You should not applicable it. I have not even told you what is the provision. So that is will be discussed in future chapter. So whatever provision we have discussed regarding rate of taxes, with the help of those provision, you need to calculate the tax of a HUF. If total income is 4 lakh rupees, you know the HUF will fall in the category 2,50,000 slab, 250 exemption, that slab. So you have to calculate the tax and let me know. The tax should be including surcharge, cess, whatever it is. It should be the total tax. Question number 10, correct answer will be fast. Akash is saying A. Dev is saying no. Akash is saying A. Mr. Pedikati Vamsh Krishnan Naidu is saying, sorry if I pronounced your name wrongly. I attended so many tax classes till today in so many institutions. You are the best faculty for taxation. I know, right? Thank you. Just. Mr. Ankit Gupta is saying correct answer is B. That's a wrong answer. Madhuri is saying B. B is a wrong answer. Garvit, you are also giving wrong answer. B. The Dilip Da is saying A. That's also a wrong answer. Janvi is saying B, wrong answer. Shruti, everybody is giving the wrong answer. The first correct answer is being given by Mahadev Bharadwaj. That is C. The correct answer is 7,800. How it happened? That's why I was saying. It's like this. We just discussed that rebate is not applicable for HUF. We just discussed rebate not applicable for HUF. Rebate is only for individual. Those are resident. We just discussed in the above example. So for HUF, there is no rebate provision. So how income tax will be calculated? Up to 2,50,000 rupees, tax will be nil. Balance 1,50,000 is going to be taxable at the rate of 5%. That means tax will be 7,500. Rebate not applicable, surcharge not applicable, but cess of 4% need to be applicable. That will be 300 rupees. But final tax will be 7,800. I have just told you that give me the final answer, including cess. The correct answer is 7,800. Clear? I hope it's clear. So those who has given the correct answer 7,800. Very, very congratulations to all of you. Next question is question number 11. Surcharge in case of partnership firm. We all know surcharge in case of partnership firm. Correct answer is B. Do not give me the correct answer. I have already told you B because we do have less time. So I need to move on to the new topic. Calculate marginally. Do one thing. Question number 12, 13 and 14. These are three numerical questions. Solve them. I will upload the correct answer. Solve them. If you do not have understand the correct answer, how it came, Let me know in the next session. I'll solve in the class. Okay. So we have limited time to complete the topic, and we need to start the new topic also today. So question 12, 13, 14, you can solve it later. And when you see the correct answer on portal, and if you have any confusion, I'll take your queries. I'll solve it for you. Okay. So these were the provisions we just discussed. Now moving on to our new topic today. Sure. Before starting this topic, this is a beautiful quote. I really believe some of these kind of sayings, some of these kinds of statements, some of these kinds of quotes really help us. Dream big, stay positive, work hard, and the best part is enjoy this journey. So you have to dream big. What is your dream? Dream to be a CA as soon as possible. Stay positive. Do not take burden. Enjoy this life. Stay positive. There might be situation when you feel frustrated. There might be situation you feel depressed. It will happen because this is the course you choose. It is not that easy. So it will happen. There might be some personal problem also with your career, your academics, your studies. But you have to be positive. Except the COVID, you have to be positive in all the cases. Fine. So you have to be positive. Always believe that everything will be fine. You have to work hard in the right direction, in the right guidance, and you will achieve the right goal of your life. And the work hard is the basic idea. Intelligence is no criteria. Intelligence is no criteria for becoming a CA. Let me tell you, I got 59% in my 10th. I was second division student in my class. You can understand how embarrassing it is. In a family, when everybody is scoring so good marks, my brother is a doctor, he's super intelligent, my father is an advocate, my mother is MSc, etc. So I was the only child in my family who scored second division in 10th. How embarrassing was that? So there was reason for that. There was some problems. I had a fracture, etc. But everything has been done is done. So whatever the result is, I have been a second division student, scoring 59%, and it's very easy to accept that I was not very good in studies till my 10th. I was a very average, below average student till my 10th. After that, something happened. After 12, something happened that completely changed the lifestyle of mine. And then I cleared my CA in a very young age, almost youngest CA of our city, of my city, one of the youngest CA, you can say. So I just realized that because I was not intelligent, of course, that was to prove from class 1 till 10th, but I was a very hard worker. When I realized something that this course can change my life, this course can help me in achieving my dream, whatever they are. So the day that click into my mind, I start working hard. And that is the only thing we need in our CA course. Dream big. You have already done. Becoming a CA is a big dream. Stay positive. You have to do it. You have to understand whatever situation it is. You have to be positive. Like when I was giving my intermediate examination, I've given both group first attempt, cleared both group first attempt. And before my tax examination, at that time there was no holiday. I remember the continuous examination for 8 days, one holiday of Sunday only, and there is continuous examination. Like for in 9 days, we have to give in 8 examination. And that was my tax examination, I guess, I believe. Before that examination, like in the morning class, exam was at 12 o'clock, and at 10 o'clock, I was vomiting actually. I was not well. I was sick, very sick. I vomited 3 or 4 times, and my brain was saying, "You are not able to give examination." And I almost decided that I am not going to give the examination because I am not in that position that I can go and give the examination. That also tax. But then I think from last 1.5 year, almost 1.5 year, almost 1 year, I was preparing every day. I was doing so much of hard work. And just because I'm not well, I am 3 or 4 vomiting, that's it. I need to actually do it again. I'm going to spoil all my hard work. And actually said to myself, no, I'll go and I will go and give the examination and I will clear it. I said this to me. And I still remember how bad I was feeling physically. But I went to the examination, I gave the examination, I cleared both groups in my first attempt. So you have to work hard and you have to stay positive. Things will be as the way you want, but you have to work for it. There is no escalator for success. There are only stairs. You have to walk there. Understand? This is CA. And enjoy the journey. That's the beautiful part. Enjoy the journey because this work will not come back. This time is just going to be gone. When I remember my hard work time, then I now feel enjoy because if you work hard and get success, that's a different kind of joy you will have. So enjoy this journey. And after this, let's moving on to our topic. This is the topic we are going to discuss today. Change is the nature of life, but challenge is the aim of life. So challenge yourself, challenge your life, and you will get everything, whatever you want. So we have chapter number 2, residential status provisions. Chapter number 2, we need to find out when we will be a resident, when we will be a non-resident, and how do I determine my residential status, and how does it's going to impact our tax structure, our tax liability, our tax implication. This is very, very important. You might remember determining the tax of a person. The first question arises, the first question we need to ask to our client that whether you are a resident or non-resident. Everything else is going to be secondary. The first question is whether you are a resident or non-resident, because this is going to make a big difference on your tax implication. How it works, before starting the chapter, before starting to understand who is a resident or a non-resident, there's a basic thing that says residential status, section 6. Under the Income Tax Act 1961, the total income of each person is taxed on the basis of his residential status. A person's nationality, citizenship, we can say like this also, has no effect on his residential status. It means a citizen of India can be a non-resident in India, and a citizen of UK can be a resident in India. So whether you are a citizen of India, it's not compulsory that you will be a resident only. And might be you are citizen of UK, and you might be treated as a resident of India. So being a resident, there is different concept. Sometimes people misunderstood the concept of residential status with the citizenship. So there is no as such connection between the citizenship and the residential status. They two have different character. They two have different norms to find out whether a person is a citizen or a resident or non-resident. Under the Income Tax Act, an individual, you remember the definition of person, we have 8-person category, in which the first one was individual and second one was HUF, Hindu Undivided Family. So under Income Tax Act, an individual and HUF, we have 3 categories. We can be an ordinary resident, we can be a not ordinary resident, or we can be a non-resident. So these 2 persons, individual or HUF, can be called as an ordinary resident, not ordinary resident, or a non-resident. And all other persons like company, partnership firm, LLP, etc., either they will be a resident or a non-resident. Understood? When resident, when non-resident, when ordinary, when not ordinary, I'll explain you. Just relax, right? Before understand how to calculate the residential status of a person, we need to understand 2 different concepts. One is how to determine the citizenship of a person, and the other is one more concept that's called person of Indian origin. Let's discuss. Okay, let's take blue color. So here is a word we call citizenship. So whether we are citizen of India, how we find out that Mr. A, Mr. B, you or me is a citizen of India or not? Of course, there is a form available. Whenever in the form it has been asked whether you are a citizen of India, we always write yes, or we tick this one. So what is the reason why we all are called being a citizen of India? What is the concept behind this? Citizen of India says if any person permanent address, permanent address country is India, then technically he or she will be called citizen of India. So if you have permanent address of a country and that country is in India, if you permanently reside in some country and if that country is India, then you will be called generally citizen of India. So on the basis of this document, we will find out somebody's citizenship. For example, there is Mr. A who comes to my office and asked, "Sir, tell me whether I am a citizen of India or not." So I will ask some document and I'll ask only one document regarding it, and that is passport. We all know what is the meaning of passport, of course. So in the passport, there's a column of permanent address. And in that column, there's a name of city and a country, of course, we need to fulfill. And if the country name it India, I will tell him that you are a citizen of India. So passport is the document on the basis of which we can identify the citizenship of any person. So if in the passport country column is written USA, then I'll say citizen of USA. You're not a citizen of India. Now the problem must be comes into your mind, or question or a query must be in your mind that you might do not have a passport. If somebody does not have a passport, what does that mean? If somebody does not have a passport, that means he or she is not went outside India legally ever. So if somebody has not gone outside India legally ever, that means where is his permanent address? That is in, of course, India. So if I have a passport, it should be checked country name. And if somebody does not have a passport, then it will be assumed that he or she is a citizen of India. Clear? So that was how we need to find out the citizenship of a person. The other word is a new word, and that is called person of Indian origin. Person of Indian origin. We need to find out the residential status of a person. Then why we are discussing these words like citizenship, person of Indian origin? Because these are our supporting actors. You can say it's a movie to find out the residential status of a person. But these are our supporting staff, supporting actors. We will need their help in these provisions. So they will come between the provisions. So what I am trying to do, I am explaining the meaning initially. So you will not get confused when they will fall in our mid of our movie. You understand? Okay, I'm talking about citizenship, how we find out. I'm talking about the person of Indian origin. What is the meaning of that? So already you should know what characters exactly comes into the role in our movie. Okay. So person of Indian origin. What does it mean if there is Mr. For example, say Ajay. And we need to find that Mr. Ajay is a person of Indian origin or not. Mr. Ajay reside in India. Okay? He reside in India. And we need to find that whether he is a person of Indian origin or not. So how we will find out? We need to check that Mr. Ajay birth of Mr. Ajay or any of his parents or any of his grandparents. Any. So if Mr. Ajay or any of his parents or any of his grandparents, anyone born in undivided India. That means before the partition, 1947. So any one of them is born in undivided India. That means before partition, before 1947. Then if any one of them has been born, for example, his grandparents, or we can say his grandfather is born in Karachi in 1940. So Karachi was a part of India before 1947. So his grandfather was born in Karachi in 1940. So if any one of them has born in undivided India, so now Mr. Ajay will be called a person of Indian origin. Understood? So even himself or any of his parents or any of his grandparents is born before partition of India and Pakistan, then that person will be called a person of Indian origin. If none of them has been born in undivided India, then that person will not be called a person of Indian origin. Understood? As my grandparents has been born in undivided India, so what I am a person of Indian origin. So even if I left India and goes outside India, even it happens that I left India and permanently went outside India, like I have got the citizenship of Canada. So I might be called a citizen of Canada after some years, but I will still remain the person of Indian origin. So person of Indian origin character does not end till your life. Like Priyanka Chopra has moved on to outside India. Now she is a citizenship of another country. But because she fulfill any of this condition, so she will be always called a person of Indian origin. Citizenship might be changed. Religious status can be changed. But once someone is person of Indian origin, that will entire remain the person of Indian origin for his or her life. Now the important thing, who includes in the definition of grandparents? Like if we are talking, Mr. Ajay is one person, parents includes two, mother and father, total three. Grandparents includes maternal as well as paternal, both. Always remember maternal because that's a grand of parent. So parent includes mom and dad both. So grands of them. So it's paternal and maternal both. So we are talking about four person over here. Mr. Ajay himself or his parents, mother, father, or his maternal or paternal parents. That means four, total seven. If out of these seven, any one of them has been born in undivided India, then Mr. Ajay will be called a person of Indian origin. Clear? So these two provisions I need to discuss before starting the concept to find residential status of a person. We have understand the meaning of citizenship. We have understood the concept of person of Indian origin. These concepts will come between our provision when we will discuss the meaning of residential status and how to determine the status of a person. I hope it's clear. I'll take the query before the break. Do not worry, you can send me query whenever you want, but I will take that query before the break. Let's start the residential status provision now. The provision of determining whether a person is a resident or a non-resident is technically very complex, we can say. Not complicated, slightly complex. Because it has many branches. You can say very many conditions also. So I will explain the whole concept with a diagram. And then we will read the theoretical provision. Once you understand the diagram, then it will be really easy to you to understand the provision. But if we will do the vice versa, I start explaining the provision theoretically, then you might get confused because of the complex situation or condition. And you will see, once I will explain the diagram, then when we will study the theoretical provision, you will find them very, very easy. Okay. So let's move on. And this is what we are going to start. Residential status. As we have seen that we have 7 person, section 231, which explain the definition of person, actually talked about 7 category of person. First one was individual. Then the other was Hindu undivided family, HUF. One was company, and then partnership firm, LLP, DOI, AJP, local authority, artificial judicial person. Okay, total 8. So in case of risk status, we have individual, we have to find out how to determine the residential status of a individual, that means human being. Then how to find out status of a HUF, how to find out the status of a company and firm, and all others also fall in this last category of a firm. So those provisions are going to applicable for partnership firm, is applicable on all others also, whether it's an AOP, BOI, AJP, whatever it is. So technically we can say we have to find out the condition in 4 categories. First, second, third is company, and fourth is technically all others, including partnership firm, etc. So first of all, we will start understanding the concept of others. How we find out the residential status of partnership firm, LLP, AOP, BOI, etc. It's a very simple concept, very simple concept. With the help of diagram, it becomes more simple. We have to find out if there is a partnership firm and somebody asks in examination, find out the residential status of a partnership firm. Then we need to check in the question, where is the control and management of that partnership firm is. Where is the control and management of that partnership firm is. What is the meaning of control and management? That means where the business meeting of that partnership firm held. Where the business meeting of that partnership firm held. Where it is registered, that does not matter. We need to find out where the business meetings are held. There will be 2 situations. All business meeting outside India. If there's a partnership firm, but their all business meeting has been held outside India in our previous year. Previous year is our 21-22. What is the meaning of previous year? We have already discussed. All the provisions we are discussing for previous year 21-22. That means assessment year 22-23. So if in the previous year, that means from 1st April 21 till 31st March 22, if all business meeting has been held outside India, for example, there is 10 business meeting held of that partnership firm, and 10 out of 10 business meeting has been held outside India, then that partnership firm will be called non-resident. Simple. What it be called? Non-resident. As simple as that. It will be given in question that this much meeting was held and it has been held whole outside India. And if all or partly business meeting held in India, whether all business meeting or part business meeting has been held in India, then that partnership firm will be called resident in India. For example, there are 10 business meetings held in a previous year, 5 in India and 5 outside India. What it will be called? Resident. Okay. 9 outside India, 9, and only 1 held in India. Still it will be called resident in India. Why? Because all outside India, all. Only in that case, it will be a non-resident status. But if only 1 meeting held in India, even, then that partnership firm will be called resident in India. I hope it's clear. It's finished. It's done. It's as simple as that. Clear? Okay. Moving on to the company. Company, whether it will be a Indian company or it will be a foreign company. So provision says if you are an Indian company will always treated as resident. Fixed rule. That's a fixed rule. If there is an Indian company, it will always be treated as resident in India. It's a fixed rule. Done. Over. Okay. But if it is a foreign company, then there are two situations. As partnership firm has a concept of control and management, the same way foreign company has a concept of POEM, poem. We called it place of effective management. We have to find out, in case of foreign company only, where is the place of effective management of that foreign company? Where is the place of effective management of that foreign company? And that only in substance. In substance means majority. This is different from control and management. Place of effective management comprise a lot of things need to be checked. What are these things? That will be fall in your final chapter. That will be not in your intermediate level. That will be discussed in your final chapter. So in case of intermediate, it will be given in question whether place of effective management in substance in India or outside India. So if it is given in question that your place of effective management is in India, that foreign company will be called resident in India. And if it has been given that is outside India in substance, then foreign company will be called a non-resident. You need not to draw this diagram. I have already uploaded the diagram on the portal with the notes only. So you just understand what I am trying to say. You need not to write this diagram. I have already uploaded a beautifully drafted in Excel or Word, a proper diagram with all these provisions. All are comprised, included in that diagram. Okay. You understand what I am explaining. So in case of a company, if you are an Indian company, that always going to be resident. If you are a foreign company, in that case, we have to check the place of effective management. If it is in substance in India, your company will be resident. And if it is in substance outside India, that will be called non-resident. Is there any problem to understand these provisions? I hope not. A lot of you students might understanding these provisions very easily. But I told you, Einstein said that income tax is the most difficult subject in this world. And now you understand why. Because he was not interested in income tax. So if these provision can be understood by you, but he was not able to understand why, because there was no interest in income tax. Interest was in science. So if any of you have interest in CA or income tax or in this subject or in this course or in your life is in your hand. Understand? It's a very important word. What I'm saying, your life is in your hand. You can fulfill any of your dream. It's all in your hand. You just need to focus on your study. You just have to create in your interest in your study, and you will find these are simple. I do not know any one of you. I only know your CRO number or your name, etc. I do not see any one of you. But I can assure you, those have interest created in the subject or in the CA course. Those all students feeling that these provisions are very simple. And those are in 50% dilemma, they might be feeling light difficult. And those are not interested. Those are doing CA just because the sake of their friends are doing, just because of someone pressure, etc. Those might be feeling what the hell it is. What is this concept? Control and management. What is this POEM? Why we need to find resident, non-resident? So please go away from that category and try to create your interest. So you will be actually enjoying the study. And as I always say, there is a way to create interest in a study. What is the way? You might be feeling what I am trying to explain you is not what you want to listen. There is no exact. I cannot create your interest in your study. I can only tell you that how you can create interest in your study. For whom you are studying? Of course, for yourself. For whose future? Who wants to be a wealthy person in your life? You all wants to be rich, of course. If you want to be rich, if you want to have luxury cars, if you want to go outside India for traveling, if you want respect in your life, if you want your family should be proud of you, I guess all of you want that. How it will happen? Just to think about it? Just to dream about it? No. Dream does not come true automatically. You have to work for it. So, dear students, if you want to buy a costly car in your life, if that is your dream, you can fulfill it only with the help of this provision, learning, studying. That's it. You not need to go outside and work in some other's home. I've seen some people who want to study, but they have to work physically in someone's office, in someone's house, and they are like work like driver, garage, etc. Do not have that privilege. You have that privilege that you can study at your home without being worried about the daily needs because your family is supporting. So you just have to study. That's the whole thing you need to do. You have all your survival needs with yourself. You just have to study. If you want to travel outside India, this is the best way. Study for 3 or 4 hours, 3 or 4 years. Sorry. And then for next 30, 40 years, you have a best life, what you can't even imagine. Or do one thing, just for next 3 or 4 years, waste your time. And then for next 40 and 34 years, you will be really puzzled for survival, for respect, for money. So even your father has a business or a big business and you know that you do not have any problem regarding money in future, but there is something that's called self-independence in your life. There is called identity of yourself. That means you. That means I, me, myself. You should be a CA. Then you want to join the business or whatever you want to do, you can do. But at least being a human, you should work for yourself first. You have to make your identity. Person should know you by your name, by your qualification. So that is the basic needs. We have all heard in economics that the basic needs. And what's the last need? The last need is self-esteem, the recognition needs. That's why we should actually be to fulfill our dream, to become someone. So people will recognize you that that's a C. So Shakespeare said, what is in the name? True. Nothing is in the name. Yes, if you have CA before your name, then you will have everything in your that CA name. That will change your life completely as they change my life. Fine. Okay. So moving on to the provisions again. Firm and others have very simple provision, that is control and management. Then we have company provision, and then we have HUF provision now. So moving on to the HUF provision. Okay, Mr. Ram is asking for a break. So let's do one thing. We should go for a break. Just give me 5 minutes, Mr. Ram. Let me take the queries and then we'll move for the break. Okay. So let me take the queries if somebody is asking. Okay, Mr. Naga is asking, will you explain section 115 BAC? 115 BAC is not in my session till now. So if I'll have the session till chapter number 3, what is my session? Total 5 session I have. So if I have other session or other topic session and it might be included in my session, then I'll explain you. Okay. Okay, Vishal, okay. There must be curiosity to learn about the new things. If we have courage to do something, it will definitely achieve. Correct? With the help of passport, we can find resident of which country? No. With the help of passport, we can only find the citizenship. For the purpose of residential status, we need to find the provision as we are going to discuss. Next is Jaspreet asking me, she never went abroad or outside India. Yes, we do not have a passport technically. Then technically that means we are not going outside India except in case of Nepal and some countries in which we can technically go without the help of passport. But in another case, then we will see the voting card, Aadhaar, etc. on the basis of which we can see that. But that's a very rare case. Okay, so next is, so we can go to Nepal and Bhutan without passport through bus service. Yes, you can go, but there's a pass issued by them. So generally, if you do not have a passport, that it means you decide to India also. Even you can go to Nepal, Bhutan, but you should have Aadhaar, voter ID, ration card, etc. With the help of that, we can find it out. They will finally, when they will understand that you belong to this country, you reside over here. In that case, you will, of course, will be allotted the time. The country name will be India. Parents include step parents for person of Indian origin. Parents include the technically those parents who have given the birth technically, fine. And if it's somebody adopted legally, then in that case, the person who adopted that will be treated as a person of Indian origin as a parent category. And of course, the step parents, in case of the original parents category, will be checked. Okay. Vishal Agarwal circulate two citizenship. In some cases, extraordinary cases, there can be multiple citizenship, but that does not affect the religious status of a person. That's a different concept. Jarinder Kumar sir, the concept of POIO means our future children will not be called as POIO. Yes, you can say that in the future. The generation will be, of course, on or after 1947. In that case, we will not be called a POIO, but do not worry, student. In that case, government can amend that definition and it would include parents, grandparents, or great grandparents. If government wants to include persons in the definition of person of Indian origin. Pooja is saying, how can our generation be a part of undivided India? I've just told it. Government can amend the definition. If it did not amend the definition, then they will not called as a person of Indian origin. Okay, so the rest queries will be taken after the break. So, Mr. Ram, we are going for a break. After 5 minutes, we'll be resumed. Mr. Ram, can we go for a break? 10 minutes, today's 10 minutes is fine. Welcome back, dear students. So I was taking the queries. Let me see the remaining queries. Somebody asked, Yajat was asking, sir, can you please explain illustration number 7 on page 1.58? I will write down this illustration number. I'll explain it to you. If we have time in this session, I will explain to you. Otherwise, in the next session, definitely in the starting session, I will explain the question you have asked. Okay. Miss Shreya is asking if my grandparents, parents, and I am born technically outside India, but my great grandparents both in undivided India. Am I a person of Indian origin? No. As per the definition, yet what we have only till yourself, your parents, or grandparents, any one of them should have born in undivided India. Riya Doshi is asking, what if all business meeting held in electronic mode, then the server from where the meeting has been started, we have to see that. In case of e-commerce mode, there is specific provision regarding that. Fine. Vishal Agarwal, partial number of meeting can be in any ratio. Yes, it can be in any ratio. It does not matter even if one meeting is in India. In case of partnership firm, then the status will be treated as resident in India. Place of effective management, I have explained you. This will be in your final level, of course, not in your level. What do you mean by place of effective management? I have just told you this is not in your syllabus. HUF, okay. Prabhas is asking, sir, can we use abbreviations such as RNOR, NR? Yes, you can use them, of course. Individual number of days the person has stayed in India, that will be for residential status. We are going to discuss it again. Harshita Maurya is asking if any foreign partnership firm has done its all or some business meeting in India, will they be called resident of India? The foreign partnership firm technically will fall in the category of company. We have discussed it. Any organization which is registered, incorporated outside India, so that will be treated as a company for the purpose of income tax. So according to that, provision will be applicable. Income tax, a subject in which everything has logic. You can say that, of course, but not in all cases. There are some cases also, but rare cases, of course. For me, I put myself into the question. I imagine myself in the question and think what I will do in this situation is what makes me interested in CA. Yes, this is the right way to understand. Yogita Kumar Kunwar, of course. Natanjali is saying, sir, you motivate us a lot. That's what I'm trying to do. If you will be able, I will be able to motivate you. And definitely it will help you about being a CA or being interested in your study, of course. Okay, next is Amrit Palkor. Any suggestion for appearing in both groups in November 2022? It's all depend upon your preparation. If you are going to complete your all subject at least 2 or 3 months before, at least 3 months before if you are going for both group. And if you're able to revise all subject at least twice, then yes, you can go for November attempt or any attempt if you have done these two things. And always try to give test series, mock test series. That will really strong your preparation. That is also very important. Institute has conducted or conduct mock test series. You have to give them. Mukta, we are asking, suppose my parents are having UK citizenship, but I born in India. Can I have more than one citizenship? Citizenship can be one or more. That's a different concept. But if it's in passport, it is written in India, I'll consider you as a citizen of India. Okay, I told you, Rajat or Yajat, I will explain that illustration once we complete this topic. Vikas is asking, sir, it means if someone who is residing in India from last 2 or 3 years permanently and now they are a child, he will not be a resident. We did not discuss yet the concept of being a resident or non-resident. So you have to wait because residential status does not have any direct relationship with the citizenship, etc. Fine. So your question will be answered or you will be understand the question you are asking once we will start the residential status of an individual concept. Okay, revision Hindi में करा देना please. Sahil Kumar, it's not possible to revise anything in Hindi because the medium is universal is English. I can only answer of your queries in Hindi. If you ask me query in Hindi, I can answer in that Hindi only, Sahil. So sorry for that. So we were discussing about the residential status and there was a chart. So we have done the firm etc. status concept, the company concept. Now moving on to our HUF concept. In case of HUF, again, there is concept like control and management. The same as in case of partnership firm, etc. Control management mean, of course, that's the same thing, that is business meeting. In case of HUF business, we have to check where the business meetings are held. So if all business meetings, same concept, all business meeting outside India of that HUF, then HUF will be called a non-resident. But if all or partly, or we can say any, all or any meeting in India, then it will be called a resident. Now you might be thinking that if the provisions are same, copy paste, they are exactly copy paste till now, then why we did not include HUF also in the firm category? So there will be only three cases then. One is individual, second is company, and third will be others. So why we did not include HUF in that last case? We have the reason for it. Because in the case of partnership firm or a company, the answer will be only resident or non-resident, resident or non-resident, or resident. There is no other category. But if HUF become a resident, then HUF have two sub-classification also. Understand? If HUF became resident, then HUF has two sub-classification. One is either it will be a resident or and ordinary resident. The HUF will be resident and ordinary resident, that is ROR. Or it will be a resident but not ordinary resident, that is RNOR. So if you become a resident HUF, then the question will not end. But in case of partnership, if you become a resident, question end over there. So because in case of HUF, if you are a resident, then you have two sub-classification. Either you will be a resident and ordinary resident, or you will be a resident and not ordinary resident. When you will be a resident or not ordinary, etc., that will be discussed after the concept of individual, because that is connected with the concept of individual again. So we are technically leaving HUF incomplete. We will complete our individual provision. Then we will move again for our HUF final provision of ROR and RNOR. I hope till now it is all clear. So now the last concept is individual. So now we will understand how to find the residential status of an individual. And this is very important. Kindly give your whole attention on this concept because it's a big concept. So I am taking the full whiteboard for individual provision. That was our first case, individual. Now we will see how you or me, or when you or me will be called a resident or not resident, etc. So an individual might be a non-resident or will be a resident. But we have two category of resident. One we can say normal resident under section 6(1), and the other is called deemed resident under section 6(1)(a). Fine. So we have two separate category of resident. Either you will be a normal resident under section 6(1), or you will be a deemed resident under section 6(1)(a). If you does not fall in section 6(1) or 6(1)(a), any of them, then you will be called a non-resident. So either you will be fall in section 6.1 or 6.1a. Then you will be called a resident, either normal or deemed. But if it does not fall in section 6.1 or 6.1a, in that case, you will be called a non-resident directly. Now, how to find out whether you are a normal resident or a deemed resident? Let's begin. So for normal resident, there are some basic conditions. There are some basic conditions. So either you will be a resident on the basis of basic condition. We can name it like A. So if any individual, there are two basic conditions. So if any individual fulfill any of them, then you will be called a normal resident. There are two basic conditions. So if you are in India for more than or equal to 182 days, you can apply this upon yourself. We are discussing provision for previous year 21-22. That means we are taking the time duration from 1st April 2021 till 31st March 22. Understood? So if you are in India for equal to or more than 122 days in India in previous year 21-22. That means this time duration. So a year contains generally 365 days in a year, except in case of leap year, then we have 366 days. So in this previous year is not a leap year, so we are talking about 365 days. So in this 365 days duration, if someone is in India, any individual is in India for more than or equal to 182 days, that means almost half of the year. If we do 50% of our year, that is 182.5 days. So we consider only 182 days or more. So if you are in India in this duration for more than equal to 182 days, then you will be called a resident. As I was in India for more than equal to 182 days in previous year 21-22. I was in India for whole 365 days, of course, in this year. So technically I am fulfilling the first condition. So you can say, yes, I am a resident in India. So those fulfilling first condition will be called resident in India. But if somebody is not fulfilling condition number 1, then there's one more basic condition. And that is, if you are in India for more than or equal to 60 days, not 182, only 60 days. If you are in India for more than equal to 60 days in India in previous year 21-22, and the condition, one more condition has been added, and plus, it's not all. That means condition 2 has two conditions, that you should have in India for at least 60 days or more in previous year 21-22 days, and you have to fulfill the other also, and more than equal to 365 days. More than equal to 365 days in 4 preceding previous year in India. So condition was saying this, that in current year, you must be in India for more than or equal to 60 days in the previous year, 21-22. But you also fulfill one more condition. Then only it will be said that you fulfill point number 2 condition. Either fulfill only first condition, that you must be in India for 182 days or more in previous year 21-22, you will be a resident. In that case, you does not need to check condition number 2. But if you do not fulfill condition number 1, then you have to find condition number 2. And condition 2 has two conditions, and you have to fulfill both. You have to complete both of them. First, in previous year, you must have in India for 60 days or more, and in 4 preceding previous year. 4 preceding previous year, you must have in India for at least 365 days or more. 4 preceding previous year means except the previous year. That means 20-21, 19-20, 18-19, and 17-18. That means in this 4-year duration, you must be in India for 365 days or more. So if you fulfill in current year 60 days or more condition plus in last 4 years 365 days or more condition, in that case you will also be called a resident in India. One more important clarification, or you can say 2 important clarification, that there is no condition, there is no requirement, there is no restriction that the number of days should be in continuous. No. If I am saying 182 days in India in previous year, that is not required that you should be in continuation in India. No. You might be in India for 100 days first, then you went outside India, then you again came back into India this year for 50 days, then you again went outside India, then again you came for 40 days. So first you were in India for 100 days, then you came for 50 days, then you came for 40 days. So in aggregate, you are in India for 190 days. This condition will be fulfilled. You can be in continuation also, but there is no restriction like that. So same in case of 60 days and same in case of 365 days. There is no requirement that you should be in all the year in India for some time. Might be you not in India in 1780. In 1819, you are in India for 100 days. In 1920, you are not in India. In 20-21, you are in India for 300 days. That means total you are in India for 400 days in 4 years. So this condition has been fulfilled. Again, in these 100, in these 300, there is no restriction like continuation is required. There is no continuation required. The days should be calculated in aggregate in the case of full year. So in the aggregate, you are in India for the requisite number of days. Then the condition will be considered as fulfilled. Clear? One more thing. Provision says the day of departure and the day of arrival into India will be considered as whole day in India. For just like me, that I have been in India for the whole year. So I was in India for almost all 365 days in this previous year. So there is no problem of arrival day and departure day. But if somebody technically who was in India and went outside India on 15th May 2021 and again came back into India, came back, went on 15th May and came back into India on 10th September. Then the problem arises that the day when he went outside India, that is 15th, and the day he came back into India, that is on 10th. So these days should be treated as stay in India or stay outside India. So government has made a very simple and clear provision. The day you will go outside India will be assumed as you are staying in India whole day. So even on 15th of May, you left India at 1 a.m. 1 a.m. Still, the whole day will be considered as in India. That means in May, you will be considered that you were in India for 15 days. That means in April 30 day and May 15 day will be considered as you in India because the day of arrival and the day of departure will be considered as you are in India. In the same case, you came back on 10th of September at 11 p.m. at night. So technically you are in India only for 1 hour. But again, as per the provision, 10th will also be considered as you were in India for the whole day. So the provision has also been mentioned in notes. The day of arrival and the day of departure will be considered as stay in India only. So if you fulfill any of the basic conditions, that 182 days or more in India in previous year, or more than equal to 60 days in India, and 365 days or more in the last 4 preceding previous year, then you might be called a resident in India, and that is a normal resident in India. But there are something more to come. Individual concept is not that simple. There is something more to come, and what it is, let's see. Now, if we just saw the provision like this, in a short, if I make the diagram, we just learned this: individual, non-resident. If you are resident, normal, section 6.1, deemed, section 6.1a. In normal, we have basic conditions. One is more than equal to 182 days. In Indian previous year, I am writing in short, of course. If it does not fulfill the first one, then the second is also there. That's a more than equal to 60 days. In Indian previous year, plus more than equal to 365 days in India in 4 preceding previous year. Correct? We just read those conditions. So if you fulfill any one of them, then you will be called a resident in India. But now there is some special provision is coming in force. There are some special provisions are in force, or we can say them exception of condition 2, this condition. There are some situations, there are some cases, there is some circumstances, there are some cases in which condition 2 will not be checked, or we can say will not be applicable. For example, what we were trying to say, that till now, if you need to check yourself, or any of you, or if I need to check myself that whether I am a resident of India or not, then I have to check one by one both. First, or if I do not fulfill the first, then I need to check the second also. But there are 3 special circumstances in which condition number 2 will not be checked. Condition number 2 will not be checked. That means in these 3 cases, somebody will be called resident if condition 1 fulfill only. If you fulfill condition number 1, you will be called a resident. If you do not fulfill condition number 1, then you might be called a non-resident. Understand what I am saying? In normal cases, you have to check both conditions, 182 or 60 plus 365. But those special provision or exception I am going to write. In that case, condition number 2 will be not be applicable. You can say condition 2 is non-exist in these cases. How? Like this. This is applicable exception number 1. Exception number 1 says that if you are an individual and you are a citizen of India, understand? Citizen. In the starting of this topic, I have told you the meaning of citizens. That's why I told you the meaning of citizen, because now we all know what is the meaning of citizen. So we need not to pause our provision, and first I need to tell you what is citizenship, because we already know the concept of citizenship and person of Indian origin. So this exception is only applicable for those individuals, those are citizens of India, like you and me. So if any citizen of India went outside India, if any citizen of India went outside India in previous year, that means in 21-22, for these two reasons, then for that individual, we will only check condition number 1 of basic condition. That means only 182 days condition. For whom? So if any individual who is citizen of India went outside India in previous year for employment, outside India, If a citizen, like I am a citizen of India, if I went outside India for employment, for job, for permanent settlement outside India, I'm not going for a visit. I'm not going for to attend someone's marriage. I'm not going for traveling, etc. I'm going for employment purpose outside India, or as an crew member of an Indian ship. So if any individual who is a citizen of India, that means we all are citizens, you and me both. So if you are leaving India for employment outside India, how will come to know that somebody is leaving India for employment purpose? Via his visa. So if it has been written in the visa that somebody is leaving India for employment purpose outside India, and there is no intention to coming back, for now at least, or if you are going as a crew member, that means an employee of an Indian ship. So if you fall in this category or this category, so in these two cases, you will be called as resident of India only if you fulfill condition number 1. Second condition will not be checked for these two category of person. So technically, the probability of becoming a non-resident will increase. And for the purpose of income tax, let me tell you, students, it's good to be a non-resident. Because if you are a non-resident, you need to pay tax less in India. If you are a resident, you need to pay tax high in India, or you should say more in India. So if any individual like you and me are citizen of India, so if we went outside India for employment purpose, or we got a job in an Indian ship, Navy, merchant Navy, right, as an employee, and we are going as a crew member of that ship, or we are going outside India for job, etc. In that case, we will be called a citizen of India only if we fulfill condition number 1. If we do not fulfill condition number 1, you are not need to check condition number 2. You fulfill condition 1, you are a resident. You do not fulfill, you are a non-resident. So this is the first exception for those who was going outside India. Now the second exception for those who are coming to India. So if you are an individual plus citizen or person of Indian origin. Now the beautiful difference you can judge in the first exception and second. First is only for the citizen of India, not for the person of Indian origin. If you are not a citizen of India, but a person of Indian origin of India, and now you are going outside India, then both condition will applicable. I am talking about this exception. If somebody is individual, like understand you are not a citizen, but a person of Indian origin, and you are going outside India, then you cannot take the benefit of this exception. In that case, both condition will check. So because the benefit for going outside India is only with the citizen, not the person of Indian origin. But the second exception is for both, whether you are a citizen or person of Indian origin. So if you are an individual and citizen or person of Indian origin, and you reside outside India, like for example, I might leave the India permanently and I went outside India and I live there permanently, I reside there, and after 5-6 years now I am coming back to India. So technically I am person of Indian origin still, and whenever I will come back again, at that time also I was I'm going to be a person of Indian origin. So if it happens that an individual who is a citizen of India or person of Indian origin who reside outside India, but now coming to visit India, whether it's business or personal, does not matter, whether he's coming to India for visit. Visit means for temporary intention, for temporary time. He's not going to shift in India permanently. We are talking about your relatives. You might have some relative, those are in outside India, they have established outside India, they have permanently settled outside India. and they might have come to meet you after 2 or 3 years on Deepavali or in marriage occasion. So we are technically talking about those, because they will always be treated as a person of the origin, even if they are not citizen. But this benefit is for both, whether you are citizen or POI. But if some individual who is a citizen of India or person of Indian origin and who reside outside India permanently, but now coming to India for visit only, then we will treat him as a resident only if he fulfill first condition. Condition number 2 is again not applicable to him or her. So there is a chances of not being a resident because he need to be in India for at least 182 days, almost half of the year. So they will come, they will stay in India for 20, 25 days or 30 or 50 or 60 days, and then they will go bend back. In that case, they will not be treated as a resident because only first condition need to be checked. So next time when your relative will come to meet you from outside India, then if they stay in India for more than 182 days, then only we will call them resident. If they stay in India for 70, 80 days, and in last 4 years, they were also in India for more than 365 days. You cannot set them that you are a resident because condition number 2 or basic condition is not applicable on those person also. Clear? Okay. Now moving on to our third exception. Third exception is this. So we have discussed the first exception. Let me write the basic condition in short again. Basic condition more than equal to 182 days or more than equal to 60 days plus more than equal to 365 days in 4 PPY. We have seen the first exception. Those are for individual. Those are citizen of India going outside India for 2 purpose, for employment or Indianship, crew member. Then exception number 2 for individual, those are citizen or POIO who reside outside India coming to India for visit. Now the third is an amendment which came last year. The third point is a special condition which came last year. This is very important. I personally believe that in examination, the examiner will prepare question on the basis of exception. They will not going to ask normal question. They will technically going to frame a question on the basis of these 3 exceptions. These are very important. Whenever religious status questions came into the question or you are practicing it, first of all, you should check in the question whether exceptions are applicable, any of them or not. This is very, very important because if exception applicable, then this condition will remove. So you just need to check the condition 1, whether it's fulfilled, resident, does not fulfill, non-resident. So very, very minutely, you have to see that whether condition 1, 2 or 3 is applicable or not. Now the third condition exception is a very special exception. I've just told you that this actually came into force from last year. Now this is saying if you are an individual, this individual is different, who is a citizen of India or person of Indian origin, who reside outside India. Till now it's actually as point number 2%, but now things are going to change. So if as an individual who is citizen or person of Indian origin who reside outside India who comes to visit India, again same till now, but there is a new condition added. So this third will be applicable to that person, individual, citizen, POIO, reside outside India, visit India, but having total income exceeding 15 lakh from Indian resources. Now this is new. So condition number first exception is for individual citizen outside India. Second exception is for individual citizen POIU. Those are coming for visit. It does not matter whatever income they have. So they will be called a resident if they fulfill 182-day condition. Again, this will be called a resident if he or she fulfill 182 days condition. Fine. But now the third person is special category of person. It say if individual, citizen, POIU, resident visit India till over here it is just like point number 2, but now things change. And if he has total income exceeding 15 lakh, which he earned from Indian resources, from having business in India, doing service in India, selling property from India, having rent from Indian asset, etc., etc. What is the Indian resources, etc.? That is a different topic. We will discuss it later in this chapter only. But if it is given in question that there is an individual who is citizen or POIO, reside outside India, comes to visit India and having total income exceeding 15 lakh from Indian resources, so he or she will be called a resident if, of course, he is 182 days or more in India. The same condition applicable for everyone. Previous year 20-21-22. But now he has one new condition again. In this exception, only one condition need to check. In this exception, condition 1 only need to check. But in this exception, condition 1 and there are new condition need to be checked. This is condition 1. There is a new condition. It's almost same like this. Just 60 days has been replaced by 120 days. More than equal to 120 days in India in previous year 21-22 and plus same condition more than equal to 365 days in 4 preceding previous year. So now you can see that there are 3 exceptions. Exception 1, it says 182 condition only need to be checked if you are an individual citizen outside India for employment or a crew member of an Indian ship. Clear? Individual citizen POIO reside outside India, comes to visit, only 182 day condition need to be checked. 60 days condition is irrelevant. But if an individual citizen person visit India and if having total income exceeding 15 lakh from Indian resources, then for becoming a resident, we need to check 2 conditions upon him. First, the same 182 days. Second is also the almost the same condition, that is 60 days or 365, but the 60 has been replaced by 120 days. So if the third category person fulfill any of them, then he or she will be called a resident. Otherwise, he or she will be called a non-resident. So that was a case of how to find out a normal resident. We can revise it like this also. It was a provision whether we have non-resident, normal resident or deemed resident under section 6(1)(a). Normal resident basic condition was simple, 182 days in previous year or 60 days in previous year plus 365 days in 4 preceding previous year. But we have exception of condition number 2 of basic condition, that was 60 days. First exception was if you are individual citizen outside India, went outside India for employment, for a crew member, only first condition need to be checked. Otherwise, you are a non-resident. Individual citizen, person of Indian origin, reside outside India, comes to visit. Again, condition 1 need to be checked. Otherwise, you are a non-resident. But the third exception is bringing a new concept. It says if you are a citizen, POIO, resident outside India, visit India but having total income exceeding 15 lakh from Indian resources. So because he is earning income from India also, so we create a new condition also for him. Almost same basic condition number 1 and almost same the second basic condition, but 60 has been replaced by 120 days. I hope it's clear. So we have completed the resident concept, but deemed resident has been left. Section 6(1). We are taking it over here. Deemed resident is very simple. Section 6(1)(a) says that if you are technically, if somebody, that is section 6(1)(a), we need to understand it very, very carefully. These are the provision. We need to check it one by one. Section 6(1)(a) say deemed resident. Deemed resident means in case where we just consider someone just like a resident, And technically, deemed resident concept is applicable only for those who have citizen of India. Those have citizen of India. Like this. Deemed resident says that if any individual who is citizen of India, this is only for citizen of India, not for person of Indian origin, and who reside outside India. And come to visit or not, it does not matter. This is a very interesting case. Very, very interesting. If any individual who is a citizen of India, who reside outside India and having total income exceeding 15 lakh from Indian resources, you can see this third condition and this sixth one slightly almost same, but there are some differences. In third condition, you need to come for visit. There is no requirement of visit. This is a fixed case. If you are an individual, you are a citizen of India, you reside outside India, you having total income exceeding 15 lakh from Indian resources on which no tax has been paid outside India. No tax has been paid outside India. So he will be directly called the deemed resident. There is no days condition. There is no coming into India condition. There is nothing. This is a fixed case. If any individual who is still a citizen of India in previous year, who reside outside India and who is earning more than 15 lakh rupees from Indian resources on which he does not pay any tax outside India, we will call him deemed resident. So if you does not fall in the category of normal resident, if you does not fall in the category of deemed resident, then what you will be called? You will be called a non-resident. Understand? Now we will discuss the provision theoretically one by one. Then we will moving ahead, of course. So let's come on to the notes. That was our topic, what we were discussing initially. I'll take the queries before ending the class. So do not worry, I am not going anywhere. So that was the starting we have done, that person nationality has no effect on the status. A citizen of UK can be a resident and a citizen of India can be a non-resident depending upon the circumstances. Person of Indian origin definition, any individual who himself or his parents or grandparents born in undivided India. Chapter overview, we need to study the resident status concept, that is section 6, and scope of total income, that is section 5, which we will cover in this chapter. First of all, the incidence of tax on any assessee depend upon his residential status under the Act. For all purpose of income tax, taxpayers are classified into three broad categories on the basis of their status. Whether you are a resident and ordinary resident, whether you are a resident but not ordinary resident, and whether you are a non-resident. Individual and firm AOP, etc. Individual and HUF have status of resident and they have resident and ordinary resident. I have made already a diagram for that, so we will discuss that diagram. The residential status of an assessee must be ascertained with reference to each previous year. A person who is resident and ordinarily resident in 1 year may become a non-resident or resident, but not ordinary resident in another year or vice versa. So residential status can be changed every year. That is not a fixed status. Section 6.1 deals with an individual who fulfill any one of the following basic conditions will be regarded as resident. We are talking about the normal resident case. So if he is in India in the previous year for a period of 182 days or more, or if he is in India in the previous year for 60 days or more and 365 days or more during 4 years preceding the previous year. But there are special cases, there are special exceptions we just discussed from the diagram. So case 1 was individual being a citizen of India, leaves India during the previous year as a member of a crew of an Indian ship or for the purpose of employment outside India. So if you are leaving, if you are a citizen, you are leaving for any of two purposes, then only first condition need to be checked. And the first condition is 182 days or more. If you are an individual being a citizen or a person of Indian origin and you come to the visit to India, then only condition 1 need to be checked. Case 3 was a special case. However, such person as referred to case 2, that means a person who is a citizen or person of Indian origin and who having total income other than income from foreign source. So if I am saying total income other than the foreign source, that means I am talking about Indian source income in short. So if somebody is saying income other than foreign source, so what income I am talking about? The Indian source income. So having total income other than the income from foreign source, that is income which accrue arise outside India, except income from a business controlled or profession set up in India, and which is not deemed to accrue arise in India. So in short, we can say that if that person has income arises from India, that is exceeding 15 lakh during the previous year, that person will be treated as resident if any of the basic condition has been fulfilled. That is 182 days or more, or in last 4 years 365 and the current year is 120. So that 60 has been replaced by 120. All other provisions are of both conditions is same. Stay in India means include the stay in the territorial water of India. So India means in earth, in water and in air also. So we have limit of up to 12 nautical miles into the sea or upon the sea and on the surface also. So if you are in that 12 nautical mile area, that will be treated as in India. Okay, period of stay does not mean continuous or active. I have told you that does not include continuous. The period or number of days will be considered in aggregate only. The day of departure and the day of arrival into India will be treated as stay in India. We already discussed it also. A special provision for a crew member. We just discussed that the day of departure and the day of arrival will be included in the days as assuming that person stays in India. But there is a special provision for crew members. What is the special provision? We will discuss this later. I am skipping this topic. We will come to this topic again. First, we need to discuss those provisions. What I just studied, what I just made you understood by the help of diagram. So this is provision I am skipping because with example it is over here. We will come back to this provision later. We discussed the deemed resident concept also. An individual being a citizen. Being a citizen of India, total income other than the income from foreign source. Again, same concept. That means Indian resource income. If it is exceeding 15 lakhs during the previous year, would be deemed to be resident in India in that previous year if he not liable to pay tax on that income in any other country or territory. Then he will be also considered as a deemed resident. However, this provision will not be applicable on individual fall in section 6.1. So if you are a resident as per section 6.1, then section 6.1a will not be applicable. For example, a person who is a citizen of India having income more than 15 lakh and does not pay tax on that income but comes to India for 200 days in that previous year. So if that person comes to India, because for a deemed resident there is no requirement of coming into India. But suppose if that person comes to India for 200 days, then he will be a resident as per basic condition number 1 of section 6.1. Then we will call him a normal resident. So if section 6.1 applicable on any person, on any individual, then in that case, deemed resident concept will not be applicable. Because a genuine reason, if he become resident under section 6.1, then why we need to check section 6.1? So technically we can say that section 6.1 will overrule section 6.1 provision. This is how we find out again, point number 2 is the secondary provision. We will discuss it. For now, I am skipping it because I'm just making read those provision. Those is we just read it from the diagram. Now this is the status for a HUF, AOP and firm. So it says situation 1, HUF firm and AOP is said to be resident in India if during the previous year the control and management of its affair is wholly or partly situated in India. I've told you if the business meeting all or any business meeting is held in India, they will be called a resident. When they will be non-resident, when all or wholly business meeting is outside India. The residential status of individual member partners is immaterial, or we can say irrelevant. Meaning of control and management, I have told you about that business meeting. It has been written over here, you can read it. Now in case of HUF, the same concept applicable. But in the HUF, there is a concept was sub-classification of ordinary or not ordinary. We will discuss it when we will complete that provision via diagram. Moving on to the company provision that I have told you by the help of diagram. If it is an Indian company, that will be a resident. If it is a foreign company, then POEM need to be checked in substance. If it is in India, then we will treat it as a resident. If in substance is outside India, then we will treat it as a non-resident. The place of effective management, meaning it has been written in your study that the same will be dealt with at final level. So, what is the meaning of POEM? That will be discussed in final level. So, I have just read the provision we discussed with the help of diagram till now. So, now moving on further. Let me tell you, individual concept does not end yet. It's yet to discuss more. So there is more provision which is going to coming into the picture for individual again. Before that, let me ask you a very simple question. So read that question very carefully, and before that I should take your query first, then I'll ask you a question regarding the topic we discussed today. Let's see what are the queries. Okay. 67. Okay. Mukta Vyas was asking the difference between resident and citizen. Mukta, citizenship depend upon the permanent address. I have told you initially in the starting of topic. And status is the basis of number of days stays. So it does not connected in any way with the citizenship. Citizenship has a different rules to find out, and residential has a different rules to find out. But for the purpose of income tax, residential status matter. On the basis of status, resident or non-resident, tax rates will be changed or not. Citizenship does not affect your tax structure at all. Okay. Next is Rajiv Kumar Das. HUF is purely Indian concept. Is not it? What? Yes, of course. Hindu undivided family does not exist anywhere out of India. It's only related to India, of course. Sneha Sharma is asking, sir, when you are explaining any concept, if any important section we have to learn, then please advise us to learn important section. You also told me to remind you that you will share tips to learn the important section. Technically, there are all sections are important. So if you are able to learn them all or most of them, that will really help you. There is nothing like important section because there is nothing like important topic. Anything can be asked. Yeah, that's what I told you that I'll share you a trick. With the help of that trick, you can learn all the sections of income tax, company law, etc., etc. I'll share it definitely. So you can remind me in our next session. Today we just need to complete our session. So in the next session, try to remind me in the starting of the session. So I'll share the tips. So how can you technically learn all the section? Okay. Next is, so the day of arrival and departure will be count in what manner if on a flight and about to enter in India, territories but still in sky. It will be written on your boarding pass, etc. at what time your flight actually left India. So if your flight is going to leave India in the same day, in that case, you will be treated in India on that day. Okay, next is, who is asking this? Tanjali is asking. It means, sir, he spent 180 full days and 2 days of departure and come back, so total 122 days are considered and the person is normal resident. So yep, he is in India for 180 days and 1 day for departure. You can say not 2 days, 1 day for departure and 1 day for arrival. And that 2 days considered into India. And if it makes aggregate 182 days, in that case, that will be called a resident in India. What about if someone go for higher studies? So there is no intention to came back. In that case, the exception will be applicable. Right? If individual citizen of India went outside India for business purpose, if that is a Prakashli aware father asking, if individual citizen of India went outside India for business purpose, if you are technically shifting your business outside India and there is no intention to came back, in that case exception will apply because the permanent intention leaving India, that will make that exception applicable. But if you are going for a business visit for 10 days, 20 days, for a business project for 3 months, 6 months, etc., in that case, exception will not be applicable. It should be seen from the visa only. Okay. Matanjali is asking, sir, the exception of second part are treated as normal resident only if they satisfy first condition and staying in India for more than. Yes, correct. Jayendra asking, sir, we are checking this register status for the tax purpose. So if I call to be a Indian citizen, so my income from other nation will also charged for tax in India. It will depend. Income is taxable depending upon from where you technically earn those income. So it will depend where from which country you earn those income, and if those countries going to tax that income and on the basis of your status, if it is going to tax in India also, then you might need to pay tax on both countries. But we have a special topic for that in final, that is double taxation avoidance agreement. There is a relief which provides you to give the benefit in these kind of situations. Section 90, section 91, 92 will deal with it later when you will be in final. Okay. Next. So if a person, Mr. Dev Yagnesh is asking, if a person not citizen but POIO and came to India for 50 days and earn in India as well as in foreign country, then whom will he pay to tax to Indian government or foreign government? If you earn in India, then you have to pay tax in India also, and it might be possible that your country, your foreign country, might going to tax that income also. So there might be a reason of double taxation also, and I've just told you there's a chapter which govern all these kind of situations. That is double taxation avoidance agreement, section 90 or section 91 or 92. So you will going to read those provisions when you will be in finance. So it's inter-level. This is none of your business. Okay. Okay, Ms. Tanishka Batra asking, sir, what is POIO? Oh God. In the starting, we discussed person of Indian origin. The starting of this topic, I've started from that. Citizenship and POIO, that is person of Indian origin, short form. Muktavya, so on the income basis, also we have differentiated them as more than 15 lakh or less than it. Yes. If you have Indian source income more than 15 lakh, income which has been earned or arise from India, then that 15 lakh concept will be applicable. Hitesh Jan asking, may I explain these conditions in chart form an exam? You can make a chart, but you have to write provisions also. But yeah, definitely if you write the provision and make a diagram, that will give you 10 out of 10 marks or full marks, because a chart can only those students can make a diagram who actually understood the provision. Not only just technically read those provision literally, but if you understood some provision, then only you will be able to make a diagram or chart of those. Vishal, how these days basis for a status purpose made? You cannot ask why it's 182 days, why it's 60 days. Government has made the provision. The lawmaker knows that, of course. Next is Pooja. Sir, you said a person in permanent address in India it is said to be an Indian citizen. If he moves outside India permanently, then obviously his permanent address will change. And you will automatically lose citizenship. It's not that simple, Pooja. When you leave India permanently, then the other country will take time for like 3 years, 5 years, 7 years. After that, they will give you the citizenship, depend upon the different concept of the foreign country. And when they will give the citizenship, only then your passport, citizenship, country address will change. Then you will not be treated the citizen of that country, from India, of course. Rajiv Kumar, 365 days can even be in any 4 PPY, 60 days in previous year classified. Yes, 365 days can be in any out of 4 previous year, 100 days in every 4 preceding previous year. Anyhow, it does not matter. We just need to check that the 4 year, the number of days should be aggregate 365. Mr. Darshan asking, deemed residents have to pay tax or not? That's a different concept. If you are a deemed resident or not, we are just discussing when you will be a deemed resident, normal resident, ordinary resident. Whether you need to pay tax or not, that is a section 5 incidence of tax, which we will discuss after completing this topic. Do not worry. Okay. What is nautical mile? Nautical mile is a measurement which need to be calculated in the case of sea. Right? It includes some miles of like 1.83 mile and 1 nautical mile sort of definition. You can Google it, of course. So in what situation he is not liable to pay tax on 15 lakh? How would I know, Ms. Kiran, in what situation he is not liable to pay tax? If he is not liable to pay tax, that will depend upon the country in which he or she lives or reside. So if that country does not charge tax on that 15 lakh rupees or more than 15 lakh rupees, then India will consider it's a deemed resident. So if he has income from Indian sources more than 15 lakh, but he or she proved that he or she had paid tax outside India on that income, in that case, he or she will not be treated as a deemed resident. Okay. So moving on to our provision again. Okay. So now moving on to our provision again. Now there is a new concept again. So we discussed about the individual resident, non-resident concept. Now there is an additional condition also. So an individual, if in short, I must write it like this, there you will be a non-resident, of course, or you will be a resident as per normal resident provision or as per deemed resident provision. In case of normal resident, there are some basic conditions. Either you fulfill 1 or 2. In deemed resident, if you are an individual who is citizen, reside outside India, having more than 15 lakh rupees income on which no tax paid, you will be called a deemed resident. Either you fulfill condition 1 or 2, you will be a resident. If you are not a normal, not a deemed resident, then you will be a non-resident. Condition number 2 has a special exception. Special exception number 1, if you are individual who is citizen outside India for job or employment or an Indian ship, only first condition need to check. We have discussed each and everything. I'm just revising it for you. Again, individual who is citizen or POIO who comes to India for visit, 182 condition apply. The third one is a special exception. Individual citizen POIO comes to visit India, more than 15 lakh total income from Indian resources, then he will be a resident if more than equal to 182 days in India, or more than equal to 120 days in previous year plus more than equal to 365 days in 4 preceding previous year. We have completed it till here. Now, if you became a resident, whether as a normal resident or as a deemed resident, if you became a resident, then the question will not end over here. If you does not fulfill this condition, normal, not a deemed resident, then you will be a non-resident and that will be your answer. But if somebody become a resident and does not fulfill, if somebody becomes the resident, then the question will not end over here. Then you have to find out, as same in case of HUF, that whether he or she is a resident and not ordinary resident, or a resident and ordinary resident. So after finding whether you are a resident or not ordinary resident, or you are a resident and ordinary resident, what will be the answer? Either this or this. Then only your answer or your question will be completed. So we can give the name to basic condition A, special condition B, and deemed resident C. So either you will be a resident as per A case, or as per exception case, or as per deemed resident. So if you are a resident as per case A, B, or C, or we can say simply if you are a resident as per normal resident case or deemed resident, then we have to find out in the question what? That whether you are a resident and ordinary resident, or you are a resident and not ordinary resident. Now we have 4 cases of it. Fine. So let's discuss one by one. Case 1. So if you are a resident, then we have to check whether you are a resident and ordinary resident or not. So there are 4 conditions. If you fulfill any of this, you will be called a resident but not ordinary resident. But if you does not fulfill any of these conditions, then only you will be called a resident and ordinary resident. So if you fulfill any of these conditions, you will be called a resident and not ordinary resident. If you does not fulfill, you will be called a resident and ordinary resident. Okay. Condition number 1. So if that person who become automatically resident, whether by a normal resident or deemed resident. So if that resident is less than 730 days in India, in 7 PPY, 7 preceding previous year. Understand, we need not to check anything now in previous year. For previous year only we need to check in basic case and this special case, like 182 days or 60 days or 120 days. To find out whether a resident is a resident and not ordinary resident, we need to check that if he is in India for less than 730 days, in 7 preceding previous year, or we can say 729 days or less. So less than 730 means he should be in India for 729 or less days in India, 729 or less days. So if he fulfills this condition, he will be called a resident and not ordinary resident. And we have to check this condition in 7 PPY. Let me explain you the example. So we are discussing now the first RNOR condition, which says less than 730 days in 7 PPY. Let me give you an example so you understand what is exactly how we need to solve it. For example, there is Mr. James. He is a foreign citizen. Fine. UK. He is a foreign citizen of UK. He visit India every year for 100 days. He visit India every year for 100 days, and from last, he's doing this from last 10 years. Or we can say, fine, 10 years. So in this question, Mr. James is an individual. He is a foreign citizen. He comes to visit India every year for 100 days every year, and he's doing this from last 10 years. So now the examiner will say, find out the residential status of Mr. James. So Mr. James is an individual. First of all, you need to check whether he is falling in the special condition or not. That 3 exception cases which I have told you. So exception number 1 is applicable for individual who is citizen of India. He is not. So exception 1 is not applicable. Second, he is not citizen, not POIO. So technically exception 2 and exception 3, that is also not applicable. He does not have any income exceeding 15 lakhs, so he is technically not even deemed resident category. So that means he should be checked for both condition, basic, because he does not fall in deemed resident case, he does not fall in special condition case. So now we will check both basic condition upon him, whether he is in India for 182 days or more in previous year. He comes to India for 100 days every year. So that means he is in India for only 100 days in previous year. So this condition does not fulfill. Now we will check the second condition, which is more than equal to 60 days in previous year plus more than equal to 365 days in 4 preceding previous year. So in previous year, he is in India for 100 days. So this condition has been fulfilled. And in 4 preceding year, he will be in India for 400 days because he is coming in India for last 10 years regularly. And each year he came for 100 days. So technically in 4 preceding previous year, he must be in India for 400 days. So technically he fulfilled basic condition number 2, both conditions, 60 plus 365. So he become the resident of India. I hope it's clear. It's very simple till now. Now, because he become resident of India, now the question will not end. We have to find out that this resident, whether it's a ROR or RNOR. For that, we need to check condition number 1 firstly, which says that he should be less than 730 days in India. That means he should be in India for 729 days or less in 7 preceding previous year. So we need to check it out in last preceding 7 previous year, how many days he was in India preceding previous year. Our previous year is 21-22. That does not have any sense to consider it over here. We will take it from the preceding previous year, like from 20-21, 19-20, 18-19, 17-18, 16-17, 15-16, and 14-15. So we are talking about these 7 preceding year, because previous year 21-22 will not be considered for the purpose of resident or not ordinary resident. We just need to consider preceding previous year. So in every year he was in India for 100 days. So technically in 7 years, how many days he was in India? That is 700 days. So is he fulfilling this condition or not? he should be in India for less than 730 days. And in this question, he is in India for 700 days in 7 preceding previous year. That means condition has been fulfilled. So we will write that Mr. James is a resident plus not ordinary resident because he fulfilled second basic condition to become a resident and first resident and not ordinary condition to become a resident and not ordinary resident. So that is the first condition to becoming a resident and not ordinary resident. I hope it's clear. Now moving on to our second condition. This is complicated. When I'll write it, you might feel that it is some complicated. But I will solve an example and then you will find, yes, it is again easy. Second says that if somebody is not able to fulfill the first one, because if you fulfill this, then you not need to check any one of these. So if somebody is fulfilled this, the answer is resident and not ordinary resident. But if somebody does not fulfill it, then we have to check the second condition. Second condition says that if that person is 9 out of 10 preceding previous year. So if he is 9-year non-resident, 9-year or more out of 10 preceding previous year. So if somebody is not in India for less than 730 days, then we need to check the second condition. Second condition says he must be non-resident for 9 years, at least 9 years or more. That means full 10 years. Out of last preceding previous year, 10 preceding previous year, that person should be at least 9 years non-resident. Out of that, 10 preceding previous year. Remember, we are not talking about the previous year 21-22 because in that year, so he is a resident. That's why we are checking these conditions. And these second condition says in the preceding 10 previous year, except this previous year. That means from 20-21 and then up to next 9 preceding previous year. So in last 10 preceding previous year, he or she should be at least 9 years must be considered as non-resident under Indian Income Tax Act 1961. So in current year, he is a resident, but in last 10 preceding previous year, he or she should be non-resident in India, at least 9 years. If he or she is 8-year non-resident and 2-year resident, that means this condition has not been fulfilled. So he or she will be treated as a resident and not ordinary resident if last 10 preceding previous year, he or she is considered as a non-resident. I understand because I've been teaching from last 18-19 years, of course, face-to-face and online. So I understand whenever a student read this condition, he start thinking extra. I need to calculate 9-year status. Oh my God, this will be very difficult. Just relax. It's not like this. I'll tell you how to calculate it. First, let me complete the provision. Then I'll give you the example of this condition also. Okay. So just stay with me. Just relax. Third is very, very, very simple. Third is saying all deemed resident, that is section 6(1)(a), will always be automatically resident and not ordinary resident. This is great. So good. So if you are a deemed resident, then you need not to check any condition of resident or not ordinary resident. A deemed resident will always considered as a resident and not ordinary resident. That's a fixed rule. No days calculation, no condition. You not need to check condition 1, 2 or anything. It's a fixed rule that if you are a deemed resident, you will be treated as a resident and not ordinary resident for the purpose of Income Tax Act. So third condition is very simple. we technically can understand this condition only over here. If you are a deemed resident, that answer will be resident and not ordinary resident. You do not need to check anything over here. You can directly answer it that that person will be treated as a resident and not ordinary resident. That's a fixed rule, universal rule. Done. So we only left with condition number 4. Now condition 4 again is a special condition. Why it's a special? Because it is for a special person. And who is that special person? He is the special person. This is the special person. This one. The special condition, third condition was very special. The exceptional cases, third condition. That was a special person. Individual, citizen, POIO comes to visit, having Indian sources income more than 15 lakh. Then we find him resident or not if he fulfill 182 days condition or 120 days or 365 days in 4 preceding previously. So if that person become a resident over here, then for that person to find out whether he is a resident, not ordinary resident, or a resident and ordinary resident, we have this special provision. And because we discussed a lot of concept provision today, so I am not discussing this provision right now because it might confuse you a lot. So your work is this: you have to revise till now what I have told you in this session. Before ending this session, I have a question to be asked, and I'm going to ask to you. Read it carefully and give me the answer. Is a question. Generally, in my live classes, when I was taking classes live, face-to-face classes, it is called chocolate question. So this is a kind of a chocolate question, like very important question, and you have to understand it and answer me right now. Are you ready for it? I hope yes. X, Y, Z is a partnership firm. Fine. XYZ is a partnership firm. X, one of the partner is X. X is a resident. Y is a non-resident. And Z is a non-resident. So X partner, we have 3 partners, XYZ. XYZ is the partnership firm, of course. And I am giving you the status of their partners. X is a resident, Y is a non-resident, and Z is a non-resident. You have to tell me the status, residential status of XYZ partnership firm. So that will be considered as a resident, non-resident, none, or what? So that's not an objective question. That's technically a subjective question. You have to answer me. What will be the status of X, Y, Z firm and why? So you have 1 minute to answer me this question. Let's see who can answer it. Till then, let me check the queries. If there's any important query, I'll answer you right now. Ankit Gupta asking, the foreigner visit in India and due to uncertain condition, they reside more than 182 days in India like COVID times. So they will be treated as resident of India. Yes, for now, on the basis of provision, we can say yes, they will be treated as a resident in India, of course. But if there's some exception by government in this case, or they can apply for some exception or genuine reason, then that depend upon case-to-case basis. They can get the benefit if they'll go to court, etc. Deemed resident will always be treated as a not ordinary resident. They are same thing. So if there's a deemed resident, automatically it is a not ordinary resident. Shruti was asking that. Question will come in examination for deemed resident. Anything can come in examination, Darshan. Himanshu Gupta, if a citizen of India reside outside India, earn income there but not tax there, visit India for more than 182 days, then he will be called a resident. Whether that income will be taxable or not, do not ask these kind of questions, because our topic is like to be a resident or a non-resident. That income is going to be taxable or not, that will be discussed in the next session, that is incidence of tax, burden of tax. Then you will understand that income can be taxable or not. So just have patience, the time will come, then we will discuss it. Mrs. Sneha Sharma is saying, sir, if I am permanently living in India, then I don't have to pay tax to Indian government if I am earning in foreign country after leaving India. Again, that thing. Today we are discussing the residential status. You need to pay tax on it or not. Your all queries are regarding that. We'll be discussing incidence of tax. For time being, I can tell you, Mrs. Sneha, that if you are an ordinary resident, then you have to pay tax whether you earn it in India or outside India. But if you are a non-resident, then if you are earning it outside India, you will not need to pay tax in India. Again, I am saying these provisions will be discussed in detail in the next session. Incidence of tax. Next is what is the difference between ordinary resident and not ordinary, Ms. Poonam Sharma? We are on it. We are discussing that topic only, of course. Riya Doshi, sir, we have to check first case B, then C, and then A. Am I right? So first we have to check case number A. If technically case number B, yes. We have to check case number B. If the exception is applicable, then we have to solve that question accordingly. If that exception is not applicable, and if it is not a deemed resident, then we move on to case number A, of course. Okay. Answers have come. Okay. Akash is saying he is a resident. I am asking about the partnership form. So he or she cannot be said like this, Mr. Akash. Shruti is saying the answer none. Milton Kumar Mahanta is saying none. Can't define. Hitesh XY is resident if their control of management, none. Status of firm depend upon control and management, XYZ. Okay. Who is this? Khushia Sahu is saying XYZ is a resident of India. Very good. Rishabh Raj is saying resident. Aditya Mudda is saying the partnership firm depends on control and management. Akash Neel XYZ from status. Okay. Madhuri is saying, okay, Dev Yagnesh is saying resident. Megha is saying nothing. Okay, control management. Correct. A lot of you are giving me the correct answer. Rajiv saying need of classifying ROR and RNOR. In case of partnership firm, there is no status of ROR and RNOR, whether it's a resident or non-resident. But the question has no information to find out the status of a partnership firm. A lot of students have given the correct answer. Very good. Well done. High five from Wi-Fi to all of you. For the partnership firm, we need to know the control and management, or we can say the business meeting concept. In this question, there is only partner status has been given, which is irrelevant. In a note also, we just discussed, we just read some time before, that the status of partner that is irrelevant. So in the question, there is no information regarding control and management or business meeting. So we cannot answer these kind of questions. So in this word, every question need not to be answered until you are satisfied that the question is also correct. Understand? So those just got this thing that there is not sufficient information to solve the question. Very well done. So now we have completed today a lot of cover the lot of topic of this chapter number 2, residential status. So it's my suggestion to you, my advice to you, my recommendation to you that kindly revise this chapter with the help of diagram also. I have uploaded the notes. There's a diagram also. Whatever I have taught you till now, please do read the notes carefully and also go through the diagram or chart. It will be really helpful for you. In the next session, we will complete our residential status, NOR provision, ORR provision, the crew member provision what we have left, and then we will come on to section 5, that is incidence of tax. And in your mindset, a lot of students asking me the same question, sir, is this income going to be taxable? Is this income is going to be taxable? So I've told you, this is not our topic right till now. Today, our topic was to find out whether you are a resident or not. So everything will become one by one. So in the next session, this kind of question will be answered automatically. So I hope it's a lot of we have discussed today. And Jayinder Kumar is asking chocolate. Okay, buy a chocolate for yourself and eat it. That's a chocolate for you. Everything is going good. So good night, all of you. Please keep study and take care of yourself. And remember, be positive, work hard, dream big, and enjoy the journey. Till then, good night. See you. Yes, session has been concluded.